morning, talk to him, family and friends. This is your host, the one and only Goodz, back at it again with another podcast. Today is February 7th. The time is 11 a.m. I know we been gone for some podcasts. We missed one or two, but we're getting back to it. Had to catch up on some work. So let's get to it. Let's not wait anymore. Let's not wait any longer. Sorry for the wait. Sorry for the wait. I like that. But it's your host, the one and only Goodz. If not us, then who? If not now, then when? Before we get to talking into this podcast about what we're going to be talking about, I want to open up this podcast with a quote for a little bit of motivation today. This quote comes from Benjamin E. Mays. Amazing man. He says, "I have just 1 minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, can't refuse it. Didn't seek it, didn't choose it. But it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it. Give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but eternity is in it." If you chasing something today, chase it. You only have a minute. Don't let that minute go to waste. Don't let anybody else influence your dreams. If you think you got it, you got it. You gotta go all the way or don't go no way. You understand? So if you got it, you got it. Chase your dreams. Many people don't live to see the next day. You may sit back and you may be like, "Oh, I'm tired, I'll just do it tomorrow. Oh, I don't feel like doing it. Oh, I can't do it." Can't isn't in your vocabulary. You understand that? People wouldn't put you in predicaments if God didn't think you could get out of it. You understand that? So many obstacles are placed in your way. You just gotta know how to twist and turn like a snake. Move like a snake. Oh, snake. But you gotta learn how to twist and turn and get out of it. That's the morning motivation. I want everybody to be well. Strengthen the mind, the body, and the soul. Remember the philosophy. You remember it. You remember it. All right, let's get to talking. We got some really interesting stuff going on today. I promised you we was going to talk about Biden's first 100 days. I told you I was going to have somebody here for you. Nobody's here though. However, this podcast will go on. This is talk to him. We going to be truthful. But when I do find somebody that specializes in the conversation, I'll get them here. But I want to make sure that somebody is specialized in that topic that we're going to be talking about so that my guests don't get lied to. If you get lied to, then it's not really talk to him. It's going to be lying to him. And we don't lie here. We don't lie. Now, Biden's first 100 days is getting kind of shaky. He's shaking it up. But it's also some other key aspects that plays into Biden's first 100 days. Now, as of right now, Biden is seeking $1.9 trillion in COVID relief packages, but it hasn't yet been approved. Okay? So that means it has to go through the committee. It has to get approved. That's a lot of money. Do you think it would get approved? Well, I think it'll get approved because right now people need it. People need money. So don't the Treasury can't be selfish with it. Don't be selfish with it. Come on, give it out. They need it, and that's what the government is for. They're here to help. If you in the business of rebuilding, you have to help. So what that's gonna look like is $1,400 per person, but now they're thinking about doing $3,000 per child. Now, many people have been cut out of jobs due to COVID, and they need this money. Many people have been struggling, check to check, trying to get it right. But with this COVID relief package, if it pushes through, don't get me wrong. Everybody that claims that they need the package, sometimes they don't really need it. Sometimes. But you can't allow the small amount of people that don't need it and just go take the checks in front with it and do other stuff with it besides take care of themselves and their kids. As many people that actually need this money and they're struggling and they're actually waiting on the government to help them. So I really think that this COVID relief package should be pushed through. I hope it's no type of weird bipartisan going on, because this is a necessity. Come on now. We got to take into account people living. People need this stuff, and if they don't get it, they might not. They probably don't think they'll make it to the next day. They're really struggling from meal to meal to make it on through. He's also thinking about putting in a $50,000 student forgiveness plan. I want to see how that's going to work. Now, if he can do that, that's great. People going to need some forgiveness. Forgiveness is the key. Forgiveness. So, if he puts together that 50,000 student forgiveness plan, a lot of college students is going to be great. The ones that graduated, they're going to be happy. Go ahead and get forgived for your loans. You ain't got to do too much. Just go on and let it ride. Biden also ruled for ICE to lessen their deportation and immigrant detainment status. So lessen detaining and or arresting immigrants, and also restrain the agency. So now ICE has to change their policy and the way they roll, and they have to tackle the situation from a new look. Now, you know that this is going to be different for ICE, because ICE is just coming from, well, they were just in a better relationship with the president, where Trump allowed them to do whatever they felt best to do to better tackle any situation in which they had kids locked up at the border and they were sending people back. But now Biden is saying, you're not going to send them back for DUIs. You're not going to send them back for little petty crimes. I don't think a DUI is petty. People lose their life over a DUI. If it's a drug charge, I don't think that's petty, because people lose their life over drugs. Money laundering, property crimes, I don't think that's petty, but many people have different views of life and what they think is petty. But when you decide to drink and get behind the wheel and you decide to crash and possibly kill a family and probably kids who didn't get to live their life yet, DUI isn't petty. So don't get it confused. That's not a small crime. That is actually a very major crime, and people should start looking at crimes like that as so. He did just order this. ICE hasn't yet made a new policy on what they're gonna do in terms of how they will arrest immigrants or people of another country who decided to come here. I'm trying to be, what do they call it? Politically correct. I want to be nicer. Yeah, nicer. Whatever. This is talk to him. So, yeah, it's gonna start trying to arrest. They're gonna start trying to find a new approach to arrest immigrants and see what crimes they will send immigrants back for. It'll probably be the high crimes like murder and situations like that, where they'll get probably tried here and either deported or they'll get locked up and sent here to one of the local facilities wherever they were arrested at. But Biden is still making twists and turns. He's getting it right. I haven't really seen too much on Camilla. She's settling in well. People are supporting her. She's having a nice little ride. Now we're gonna have to see where she pops out at in a couple days. She released some statements. Let's see how she rolls with the Senate. She doing it. She doing it. Now, one thing that's really affecting Biden's first 100 days, as we talked about in a couple podcasts back, is the impeachment of Donald J. Trump. There have been 9 managers assigned to this impeachment from the Democrat side. It's going to be the lead manager, Jamie Raskin, Congresswoman DeJetti, Congressman Sicily, Congresswoman Castro, Congressman Swallowy, Congressman Liu, Congresswoman Plaskett, Congresswoman Dean, and Congressman Nejus. Now, this team was picked well. The Democrats feel like they had their cards in order. So we're going to see how this plays out. They're getting everything together. They even just recently requested Trump to testify at his own trial, but his legal team refuses to allow him to testify. Now, why would an innocent man, so be it, he claims to be innocent, why would you not want to testify? Why would you not want to plead your case on why you did what you did? In my opinion, if you testify, don't nobody else know the story better than you. Now the news can get out there and they can try to say they know whatever they think they know, and they can twist your words, so be it. And you get all the fake news outlets to go against you, but nobody really knows the story better than you. So why not get out there, get ahead of the situation, and tell the Senate what they want to hear? Maybe you may make it better for yourself. Maybe you won't. Find out on the next episode of What He Doing. Now, Trump's legal team is taking a different approach. They started looking at the Constitution. They say that the Constitution states that you can only impeach a sitting president. So they're not going for the impeachment. They're saying you can't impeach Trump because he's not a sitting president. They're also claiming freedom of speech. They said Trump was talking freely, using his First Amendment right. So, it's unconstitutional to impeach Donald Trump, per his legal team. And he was using his First Amendment right. You cannot impeach him for using his First Amendment right, so he says. Well, let's talk about it. Trump incited insurrection on the Capitol. Fight like hell? Come on now. He knew how they was going to interpret those words. Yeah, he did. You can sit there and tell me that he didn't, but yes, he did. And people went to that Capitol and people lost their lives. They lost their lives. Many people were hurt. But the president can sit back and say what he wants. You want to talk about Constitution? It is people's God-given right to vote now. People can now vote as part of their constitutional rights. But no, as the president, he decided to get people who supported him in the major states. He wanted people in the major states to overturn the election. He wanted people to override people's constitutional God-given rights. So you want to talk about Constitution? Don't talk about half the story. Give it to them all. Come on. can't. It's always three sides to the story. It's gonna be your side. It's gonna be their side. It's gonna be the truth. Just like with politics, it's gonna be the left. It's gonna be the right. It's gonna be you. That was nice, but Trump is gonna get impeached. Well, he might not get impeached because the Senate might play games. They might twist it around. But I think Republicans are coming to their senses that this man has done more damage than he has done good. He was a businessman, not a politician. He made money moves, not smart moves. You understand? So he knew where to put his money at. He knew where to take his money out of. But he didn't know how to unite people. He didn't know how to work with people. He didn't know how to use his wordplay. Well, he used his wordplay, just not in the right way. I remember reading an article of Trump writing a letter to an elementary school teacher about her thoughts on what she said about him. And what did he do? And what did she do? Not about what he did. What did she do? She edited his paper and sent it back. She told him to fix his punctuations. His wordplay not there yet. However, if we're going to talk about Constitution, we're going to talk about both sides of the lines. He violated some people. He attempted to violate some people's constitutional rights. The president felt like he had enough power to tell people to overturn the votes in major swing states so that he can get the election because he felt like he was cheated. That isn't going to fly. We already knew that Trump was losing voters before the election. It was already stats coming out within his first 2 years that he was losing voters. He lost 30% within his first 2 to 3 years. So it's no way he thought he was going to have the same or bigger numbers the next election go around. So what did he do? He started trying to make friends. He started trying to tell people what they wanted to hear. He had the Proud Boys. Yes, he was talking to a group, and the Proud Boys was there, and they decided that they was gonna take the president's word and live out his orders. In that term, they went to the Capitol to try to stop the vote. Stop the people's right for who they voted for. Stop the unity process. People came together and they voted. He didn't like that. So a man who doesn't like people coming together using their constitutional rights to vote and express their voice using their First Amendment right simply shouldn't be here. Now, don't try to twist my words. Simply shouldn't be here as a president. All right? Let's not go and twist Goodz words because Goodz didn't say anything wrong. All right? All right. Now, House Majority Taylor Greene. She was removed from her committee roles as a budget in the budget committee and in the education and labor committee. She seems to think that school shootings and 9/11 is a conspiracy. She thinks that the government planned it. Even heard that she think those people aren't really dead. How could you think that? How could one be so twisted to think that that is something okay to say? People lost their children in school shootings. You're going to call it a government conspiracy? You're going to say that these people, kids, aren't really dead? Now that is twisted. That is very twisted. And that is hurtful. And to the parents that have to go through that, they probably feel so bad. And you should feel so bad. And I'm sorry for those parents that lost their kids to stuff like that. Because both sides of the aisle can't come together and make a decision on how to control weapons. And the weapons, not really an issue. It's the people that you guys are giving weapons to. The background check just isn't strict enough. And as a result, we get school shootings, mass shootings, Las Vegas, Sandy Hooks, Columbine. People lost their kids. But she thinks it's a conspiracy. And when she was approached about it, she didn't apologize, but she made an 8-minute video. And what did she also claim? Her First Amendment right. She even wore a mask that said free speech. So that means all of these people of power that the country looks up to, they were elected into that position, chosen for it. Feel like they can say whatever they want to say and people are not going to take it in a certain way. You are a high-ranking individual. People in this country look up to you. And for you to say what you want to say is simply just not right. You can say the truth, yes. But you have to remember that people have feelings. People have rights that need to be protected. And if you're not going to be the one to protect these people and make them feel right mentally and physically, then you just aren't right for the job. People need security. People need to make sure that they're safe. People need to make sure that when they need someone to turn to or need to look to the president or a representative, that they're going to be there to handle the issues at hand. And we just need to change the system. And that's why I'm hoping Biden is here to change the system. I'm hoping he's going to man up on his word. He's going to go through and he's going to make everything that he said right. I hope he's going to go 100 with his promises and make everything right. And Kamala Harris, I hope she pulls through too. I hope together this administration will change so much and help this country see the light. Because for the past 4 years, it's been darkness. Actually, let's not even say that. Correction. This country has seen the darkness since it was created. This country was built on lies. So much dirt behind this country. They treat people of color so wrong. They treat minorities, which black people are not minorities, so wrong. And that's a problem. Equality. People have been fighting for equality for so long. When will we get it? When will equality come into play? We gotta wait another 4 years, or another 4 years, or another 4 years, or another 4 years, or will it ever come? Will my kids see it? Will my kids' kids see it? Or we have to wait generations to come before somebody actually decide, you know what, this is actually wrong. We need to actually fix stuff. We can't keep allowing people to do the things that they're doing. We can't keep allowing public officials to feel like they have the right to overrule rights that have already been established by those before them. This is a people's country. And it starts with voting. And it's not only voting for the president, people. We gotta pay attention. It's voting for your mayors. It's voting for Congress. It's voting for your governors. It's voting for the Senate. Because the president can't do stuff without the approval of the Congress and the Senate. That's what we have to remember. It's a separation of powers. It's a balance so that one party or one person doesn't have too much power. So that it doesn't go into a dictatorship. This is a democracy. Everybody has a say in what goes on. So we have to make sure that we doing what we got to do on our end as citizens of America to make sure that we on it. We got to roll. Because in all honesty, if this country is to fall, it's not going to fall from an outside source. It's not going to fall because we get attacked. It's going to fall because we're going to fall from within. We got to stand together. Unity is what it is. Also, pro-Trump attorney Lynn Wood was so big on voter fraud. He said, yes, this election was stolen from us. Voter frauds. People was committing acts of voter fraud to get Joe Biden as president. Well, facts now show that he voted in a key swing state, Georgia, despite living in South Carolina. So, sir, it looks like you were the one that committed voter fraud. Come on now. Whatever people do, people are going to find out. Play your cards right. We have to know what needs to be done and how to do it. As citizens of this country, we have to know our constitutional rights so that we know what is allowed and what isn't allowed. As residents of the state that you reside in, you need to make it your business to know those state laws so that you know what is allowed and what isn't allowed. Because in all actuality, laws are only made for the law breakers. So if you aren't one of those, you shouldn't be coming subject to violating those laws. But it's up to us to know it. So the question still remains, how will Biden help my community, our community, in his next 100 days? Will Trump get impeached? Will they allow this First Amendment, his claiming he used his First Amendment to flow? Will he get impeached for inciting insurrection? Will people understand how much damage was committed? Will we come together and start acting as one? Will we educate each other? Will we reach back and help another man up when we make it up to the top? Or will we just use our big heads when we get up to the top as selfishness? I want everybody to sit back, think about this podcast. I love you guys. I'll see you guys again. This is the podcast that we've been waiting for. It took some time to come out, but there's many more to come. Consistency is key. But I just want you guys to actually listen to what I'm talking about because it is important. And if we don't get it now, we're never going to get it. It might be too late by the time we decide to think about it. So let's think about it now and not later. This is Talk to Him, hosted by yours truly, the one and only Goodz. If not us, then who? If not now, then when? See you guys.